everybody, I'm Liz, and today is the day to do another Top 5 Wednesday video. Top 5 Wednesdays, if you haven't heard about it, I talk about it every week pretty much. And it's just a great Goodreads group where they select your topic, you can blog about it, booktube about it, whatever type of bookish whatever about it, and you just pick 5 fantastic books that meet that week's topic. I'll leave everything down in the description below so you can check it out if you are interested. This week's topic are your 5 favorite science fiction and fantasy books or series of all time. Now, I'm sure when I get into these books, this will not be a surprise to you because I talk about these books all the time. I rave about these books. I love these books. They're always gonna stick with me, and that is what I stuck to with my criteria are what books am I always going back to, always thinking about, and what books am I just going to crave and reread and love for years to come. And so these aren't in exactly any particular order because I love all of these books so much, and if you haven't read them, I highly encourage you do. The first book I have is a science fiction novel, and I realized when I was going through these that as much as I enjoy science fiction isn't my absolute 5-star on Goodreads favorite books of all time. Those are usually reserved to fantasy novels and a few choice contemporary novels. So the first book that gets a 5 out of 5, and I love it so much, is The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I read this book by chance last year when I found it on the side of the road. And I decided to snatch it up and read it because I've never read it before. They talk about the split and divide of society in the future. They talk about time travel, and there's so many open in the air questions by the end of the book that I wish it was longer than these measly 120 pages because it is just so good. Next, we are going with Harry Potter. There is nothing better than Harry Potter, and me rereading The Sorcerer's Stone right now just solidifies my love for Harry Potter. I can't even fathom where I would be in the reading world without Harry Potter. I know it's gonna be that modern classic of our time, and I just love it so much. I know there's flaws in the book, but I still love it, and there's no better rhyme or reason for my love of this book series besides that it is the series that kept me continuing to read throughout elementary and middle school, that made me pick up other books, and that made me continue to read. Next, we have the Gemma Doyle trilogy by Libba Bray. This book series was the first book series to tear my heart up, tear it into 2. This is a fantasy novel. It's also a little bit of a historical fiction because it takes place in the turn of the century where women are heavily oppressed and they have these societal constraints. But Gemma doesn't exactly meet that, especially because she witnesses her mom's death. But instead of being able to grieve and deal with all of this, she gets shipped to a boarding school called Spence Academy to learn how to be a lady. Here, she meets her friends, and it's so strong in that girl power that it was just so fantastic. They tackle so many issues with this time period. There's also a beautiful slow burn romance in this novel that doesn't really take center stage. You are totally shipping it all the way through, and you just want and need to experience that journey, and that is why this book will forever stay with me. Next, we have the Remnant Chronicles series by Mary E Pearson. I do not have the first book, The Kiss of Deception, because my friend is borrowing it right now, so I am going to show The Heart of Betrayal, which is the second book. And this book series is so awesome. Most people don't like love triangles. They don't like a lot of those princess tropes and assassin tropes and betrothal type stuff. But this book series completely did it for me, and I loved every single second of it. The next book series that has stuck with me is the Leviathan series by Scott Westerfeld. This pulls historical fantasy elements, this pulls fantasy elements, steampunk elements, science, all up into one book that's coherent and cohesive, and I just absolutely love it. So those are 5 books, and I know we're supposed to stop at 5, but I am not. I am continuing on with the 6th book only because I can't not mention this, and that's BioShock Rapture by John Shirley, because it is science fiction. There is kind of this post-apocalyptic stuff in the video game. This is prior to that, so it still counts as just science fiction. It's so gritty, and I just love it so much. I love the BioShock world. I love Rapture, a city underneath the ocean. So it's an honorable mention because it didn't start out as a book. It started out as a video game, and I just absolutely love it. I just love fantasy and science fiction books, and I just love to know more and more about these stories. If you guys have any recommendations for science fiction or fantasy, please let me know in the comments down below, because I love these genres just so much, and they always stick with me. I always gain something exponentially amazing with each story, and I just learn something new, which makes it all the better and so fantastic. Enough of my rambling. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye!